Let's consider this examination question. It says, write 1.63 times 10 to the minus 3 as an ordinary number. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is to write down the 1.63 times 10 to the minus 3. And we can see that this number is in two parts. We have this part of the number, 1.63, and we have this part, 10 to the minus 3. And you can see in the center, we're multiplying these two parts together. I'm now going to concentrate on the 10 to the minus 3. And we should know from our work on indices that this can be written as shown here as 1 over 10 to the plus 3. In other words, I like to think of this as this has been brought below the line with 1 on top, and the minus that's here has been changed to a plus here. So knowledge of this is important to answer these kinds of questions. So you may need to brush up on your indices work if you don't quite understand what's going on here. Now 10 to the plus 3 actually means 10 times 10 times 10, which is 1000. So I can write this out as you see here as 1 over 1000. So if I bring the number that's part of the original question down, I can now rewrite this as you can see here, 1.63 times 1 over 1000. I'll move this to the top of the next slide. We can see we've got 1.63 times 1 over 1000. Now this is the same as 1.63 divided by 1000. Now I'm going to move the 1.63 divided by 1000 to one side because I can rewrite this as shown here. 1.63 divided by 10, divided by 10, divided by 10. Now dividing by 10 three times as you see here is exactly the same as dividing by 1000. Exactly the same in the sense you get the same result. Let me remind you of the number we were given in the question, 1.63 times 10 to the minus 3. Now, what I'm going to do is just to concentrate on the 1.63. And I'm going to ask, what does this look like when you divide by 10? Well, the answer is it'll become smaller, and the decimal point will move from where it is now to this position here. And you can see I've put a 0 here so we can emphasize where the decimal point is. So this is 1/10 smaller than this because I've moved the decimal point in this direction. If I divide by 10 again, watch what happens to the decimal point. It moves again. And I'll divide by 10 again, and you can see it moves again to here. Let's put it back to where it was. So I'll divide by 10, I'll divide by 10, and I'll divide by 10. And you can see we have moved the decimal point 3 times. Let's put it back again, and let's divide by 1000, which remember is the same as dividing by 10 by 10 by 10. So dividing by 1000 will move the decimal point once, twice, 3 times. So the decimal point was originally here and it was moved 3 times. Once, twice, 3 times. We can also tell how many times we have to move the decimal point by this number here, the 3. It's telling us that we're going to move the decimal point 3 times. And this negative tells us the direction we're going to be moving the decimal point. We're going to be moving it in this direction so that this number here becomes smaller than this part of the number. So we can write out the following. 1.63 times 10 to the minus 3 equals this number here. And this number is the ordinary number. So onto the dotted line we can simply write out 0.00163.